Cha-cha. Sessions presents 60 Christmas classics.
You.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm going to boost your volume next time, not even tell you. So we're talking about music today, and yet I found myself, there was a question I wanted to ask you. Shelly Brisbin. Shelly Brisbin, everybody.
Hello.
Tell people where to find you, how to find you, what you want them to know about.
Well, you can find me at brisbin.net. That's BRISBIN.net, or Shelly on Twitter, SHELLY. But I'm excited right now because I have just put the finishing touches on the latest edition of my book, iOS Access for All, and you can find that at iosaccessbook.com.
Very cool. I didn't even realize that that was the thing that you were close to ending, let alone having just ended it moments ago before we started recording.
Literally moments ago.
So congratulations. I'm assuming
Thank
that
you.
Aside from some of your nearest and dearest, like maybe people in the house, that I'm like one of the first people that you've been able to tell.
You are. I did post a quick message to some friends in a Slack group where we show off about things we've done like that because I wanted a little fireworks emoji and I got it. And that was what I needed.
Very
but yes,
cool.
You are among the first. I haven't tweeted it out yet. So.
Okay. Well, what's cool is tomorrow, then everybody today now, as people are hearing this, all the people hearing this right now, they're hearing about it like early. It's like hot off the virtual presses.
Right.
And so I want to make sure people know. Can you tell them one more time where to find it?
It's iosaccessbook.com, and if the title doesn't make it apparent, this is a book about everything to do with accessibility and iOS, updated for iOS 14.
So you and I are talking about music today, but you also, you're a film nerd, and I found myself wondering about something earlier today. What is the difference between a Christmas movie and a movie that takes place at Christmas? And I'm not trying to reignite the whole Die Hard debate. But I'm wondering about what the difference is between those two. Like the movie The Ref. You remember the movie The Ref?
I don't think I've seen that.
Okay.
The name is familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
Kevin Spacey, and not Ann Davis, because she was Alice. Who am I thinking of? The woman who was in Barton Fink. Not Hope Davis. And yeah, see, it's terrible. And Dennis Leary. So it's Kevin Spacey. It was that lovely woman from Barton Fink, whose name I can't think of, and Dennis Leary. And it took place at Christmas. He was a bank robber or some sort of robber who came into their house and kept them hostage for a while. But a comedy, because it sounds hilarious. Yeah. Right. And it took place at Christmas time, and they had the whole the wreaths with the candles in them and all that stuff. And it came out in March. And their ad campaign was, if you see only one Christmas movie this spring, make it The Ref.
It's a good line. I like it.
It's not bad. And so it's a movie that takes place at Christmas. I don't know if it's a Christmas movie. What's the difference between the two?
I mean, a Christmas movie, for people who have Christmas movie traditions, it feels like something that evokes their concept of the season, right? So if a movie happens during Christmas time, but it's like, oh, that's just decoration. There's snow on the ground. There's lights. To me, that doesn't feel like a Christmas movie, but I'm also one of those. And I actually happened to watch Die Hard last week with some friends, and we stipulated at the top, we're not going to have that conversation about Christmas movie versus not Christmas movie. We're just going to watch it and enjoy or mock it as we will. And I liked that because it didn't feel like there was pressure. But at the same time, Die Hard feels like the perfect example of a movie where there's this decorative Christmas tint to it. Yeah. And for some people, that's what they need for a Christmas movie. For me, it's not, but that's fine.
I had a friend who saw Die Hard in Germany, and he was from the U.S., but he was living in Germany because his parents were working there. And German audiences didn't understand why John McClane was fooled, because Alan Rickman, of course, is doing what to American ears is a passable German accent, but to Germans is nothing like a German accent, right? And then he sees him, and then Alan Rickman starts speaking in an American accent, which to us was a passable American accent. To Germans, it still sounds like some guy talking, right? And so he's been talking to this guy on the radio the whole time. Suddenly he's face to face with him, and he's still talking. And all the Germans in the audience are like, "How does he not know?"
Right?
How does he not know? It's because he didn't have the faux German accent. We need to get to music, but I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
What's your Christmas movie?
So my Christmas movie, I'm not only a film nerd, but I'm a nerd about old films. So mine is a movie called I'll Be Seeing You from 1944 with Ginger Rogers and Joseph Cotton. And it basically is two people who meet on a train, and both of them are lying about their lives, and they come together, but by the end of the movie, they have to sort of fess up. And it's really sweet and adorable, and it has that song, I'll Be Seeing You. So it's only a Christmas movie in the sense that it takes place at Christmas. I mean, there is Christmassy stuff because they get together with the family and the whole thing. So I guess it fits my definition of a Christmas movie. And I think I like it because it's not everyone else's Christmas movie. I'm still like that person who feels like they have to be, picking their own stuff as opposed to, It's a Wonderful Life. That's everybody's Christmas movie. But I like I'll Be Seeing You a lot.
See, I remember It's a Wonderful Life before everybody knew about It's a Wonderful Life. It was like on the PBS station in 1978. My mom caught it and she absolutely loved it. And then I happened to be watching PBS later because, Sesame Street or something. I was 8 years old. And the Monopoly set that I grew up with actually had the date and time that they were next going to be playing It's a Wonderful Life because I didn't have anything around me. And I just got Monopoly for Christmas. And so I wrote it down. And so all growing up, I could tell you when It's a Wonderful Life was on in 1978. I'll Be Seeing You. Look, I won't claim it as my Christmas movie, but I love Joseph Cotton. So I'm now going to be seeking out that movie. And if I like it...
He's very good in it. He's really good.
Well, he's just good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. All right. Mine, by the way, is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. All right.
I stand that. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. So I was going to talk to a bunch of people about their album sides. And I talked to Tom Merritt back in October, and I've recorded, in a few minutes every week or almost every week since. And yet somehow I forgot to ask anybody else about their album sides. And so then I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to call somebody and I don't know who I want to call. And so I was thinking about the 10 album sides that we had. And I mean nobody else any offense, but there was something about the album side that you did when we went through the album sides. There were a few that just that one speaks to me. That one speaks to me. And yours did for the album side. And so, apologies for being last minute about this, but I wanted to find out what 5 songs Shelly Brisbin would put on a holiday album side. And luckily, I still know Shelly Brisbin, so I called her and asked her, and now she's going to tell us.
What I realized is that I did not really put them in an album side order. I picked 5 songs that I really like that are, to me, I like them for some of the same reasons, but they're very different from one another. But I realized I did because I looked at the first one. I was like, that's not what I would start the album side with, but I'm just going to go with it anyway.
Okay. So what do you got?
So my first one is A Christmas Time's a Comin' by Emmylou Harris. A lot of country artists have done this song. I don't know who wrote it, but the way she has a really tremendous holiday album. And it's just it's got all the sort of folky down home notes, but not super syrupy that I love. There's this place where folk music and country music meet together where I'm kind of happy, and I really like that song.
Okay. Why that song in particular?
Well, first of all, I really like the way it was done on the album. It's Emmylou Harris. She's got some folks singing with her, but I just think the instrumentalism is great. The mandolin is tremendous, and it's just there's so much warmth about it. But again, it's not syrupy. It feels sincere, like I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm excited about it. And the thing I'm excited about it is I'm going to be home with my peeps.
Oh, cool.
And so I just really like it. It feels good.
Your second track.
Walking into Winter Wonderland. The thing about Christmas songs is there are so many people who do the same songs, right? So which Walking in a Winter Wonderland? I love the Darlene Love version from Phil Spector's A Christmas Gift record, which is a great record overall. And in fact, I had trouble picking one track that I loved, but the version of Walking into Winter Wonderland that Darlene Love does, there's the wall of sound. There's just great, again, great orchestration, great energy. It feels like a song that I want playing when I open the door to people coming into my house. I know we're not doing that this year, but if we were, that's what I'd want to be playing. Right.
Oh, that's very cool. I like the wall of sound. I'm sorry that we can't. His music is so, much that I'm not saying that Phil Spector gets a pass, because obviously he does not. But Oh, man, the Wallace sound is just incredible. River Deep Mountain High is always going to be one of the best songs ever, I think. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there were a couple of people I thought of, because I have a long honorable mention list, which we may or may not get to, but there are people who I'm like, do I really want to say yay about this person? Phil is obviously one of those.
Yeah.
I got that album. And I also have good feelings about having gotten that album, because there was a point, this was in the 90s, and I was in California and I was not going home for Christmas that year, and I was feeling kind of homesick, and I was also trying to put together like a good Christmas playlist. And I have a number of albums that I have as a playlist and have had for a long, long time. And I just sent an email out to my team and basically said, hey, what's a good album I should check out? And that Phil Spector album was one of the suggestions. And it has stuck with me for, 25 years. It's such a good album, and it's just so lush and so great. And I just have to, there's a little track at the end where Phil Spector thanks everybody. And if I can just get rid of that track, we'll focus on the people who actually sang the songs.
Yeah. Track 3.
So I have the benefit of knowing one of your other guests' choices, and that bummed me out because I didn't get to pick my first choice, but I picked another choice from the same album. It is O Tannenbaum from the Vince Guaraldi trio of the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Okay.
That album in general, it means a lot to me. I've always loved it, and I've loved the sort of minor chord, sort of happy, sad energy that album has. But I discovered as an adult that my sister loved that album. And she and I don't have a lot of similar musical tastes, and we bond over family stuff, but not really art and culture kinds of things. And so when I discovered that she loved that album, I saw it in a whole new way. And I've added it to my, Christmas playlist and have kept it. And it's a tremendous album. I love the tone of the whole thing. And What Christmas Time Is Here is my favorite song. And I actually like the version with the vocal in it, because there's this sort of like happy, sad, this bit of melancholy that I just love. But O Tannenbaum is also great, and it swings a little bit. It's got a little jazz to it, but it's just such a lovely album, that whole album. And I like that song. And I like that song the way it's done by Vince Guaraldi trio. I don't think I would say, oh, Tannenbaum, yeah, that's my favorite song. But the way they do it, I love it.
Right. There's something about just the way he plays. And I know if we had David Sparks on, he could just, school me in all kinds of stuff about jazz. And I don't even know if he would consider that jazz, although he doesn't seem terribly snobby. He just, goes deeper, I think David does.
Yeah.
There is just a playfulness about that. And there's so many, I know this is not the same thing, but there are so many celebrity albums where it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to do my version of Silent Night, and it's the same. Now I'm going to do my version of, Marshmallow World, and it's the same as all the ones you've heard before. Maybe it's because he's not tied to vocal. Maybe it's because he can, just sit down and play with the instruments. I mean, in something that would just take a few notes, hits 20. But it's a tremendous amount of fun. It feels like you're skipping along a lane, as opposed to, walking a path, I don't know if that makes sense, but
I think it does. And I just really, that whole album just has a feel about it. And I tend to shuffle my Christmas music so that I'm not sort of in one mode the whole time. But when one of those comes up, I just feel good.
Track 4.
Got to go with Santa Baby from Eartha Kitt. Love Eartha Kitt so much. And I'm not going to be saying that I'm a fan of the materialism of that song, but the way she performs it is so delightful. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It's hard not to, it's really the best I can say.
And that song again, it's actually a good song. I enjoy the song, but I don't think anybody could perform it. I don't want to hear anybody do it other than Eartha Kitt. Actually, because I was listening to a station that has gone all Christmas all the time at this point today, and I don't know who it was, but I heard that song done by a dude, and I like to think that it's a drag queen. It sounded like a male voice, but I want to imagine this person in drag just doing Santa Baby and not really trying to, notch his voice up an octave. He felt like it was his natural range. And so it made me happy to think of him as a drag queen in gold lame. And, asking for what he wanted for Christmas. But Eartha Kitt was the original. So
that's fun, and I may have to look for that. Let's go ahead and round out your list now, though, with track 5.
So this is a song that I found out recently, and I didn't know that before, is one of the Christmas songs that annoys people, like Little Drummer Boy annoys people. I am ambivalent about Little Drummer Boy, but I have always loved Carol of the Bells. And apparently that song drives people crazy. Dun, 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 dun. Stop it with I love that song. Well, I love that piece of music, and I love it when it's done in a way instrumentally or with choral accompaniment, as is in the version that I picked. And I just love it. It just feels like Christmas. And it's funny because I was like, okay, what version should I find? The first version I found it's apparently on the Home Alone soundtrack. I don't even remember that.
Okay.
But it is.
By whom?
Somebody whose name I am not familiar with. It's very, very long Slavic European sounding name. Although it's some of the versions. The version in Apple Music, I believe, is credited to John Williams because I guess he did that score, but that's not who did that version of the song.
No, I don't think so.
No. But I still am going to stand by Carol of the Bells. And I do have memories of being in choir for the year or two that I was, and us doing a kid's, junior high version of Carol of the Bells, and realizing it wasn't very good, but also feeling like that's Christmas. You're standing there and you're in the mall performing for the people as they go by, because it's your night to do that from 6 to 7 p.m. And we're going to stand in the mall and we're going to do Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and we're doing all these other songs, and we're going to do Carol of the Bells, and we're not going to do it very well, but nobody cares because we're 13.
Well, unfortunately, you won't find that recording. But if you do want to keep up with this growing Christmas album that we have going for this week, the best place to do it is, well, the only way to do it, really, go to Apple Music and either search for Ken Ray or macOS Ken, all one word, because we're building a Christmas playlist, finishing it up tomorrow with my picks, and sit around the tree or fire or whatever and give it a listen. Shelly Brisbin, thank you very much for sharing your list with us, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, and thank you for having me along.